Joining me is Chair of the LCCMR, Tom Hackbarth, to talk a little bit about what's next for projects and appropriations. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. And as you know, we are having a little commission hearing today. And we're doing an overview of some of the work programs, some of the work projects, and we're looking at past projects that have been done, those kinds of things. But yes, in the upcoming legislative session and in the future, we look to be maybe moving in a little bit different direction with LCCMR. We've got legacy funds that are in place now. Some of those things have are funding through, some of the things we funded in the past are now being funded through legacy. So we're trying to focus LCCMR more on some more specific projects.
Such as?
Well, things like, I know that the Asian carp issue, invasive species, things like that are becoming more and more prevalent in the state of Minnesota. In our commission hearing today, we're looking at some of those things, and I think we'll be seeing more in that direction too.
Would you say that there might be more money then as well for research and development as well?
I think that's what we're going to be looking at is rather than funding some purchases of land and things like that, it's going to be more of a research focused initiative and doing more studies and things like that that we have to do.
There was a little bit of controversy last session over projects that were included that involved renewable energy and global warming. Do you think that these kind of projects warrant some consideration as well?
Well, they might warrant, you know, something to look at for some particular reason or whatever. But I think we need to focus more LCCMR more on the projects that we were just discussing, things that are emerging issues that we have to deal with right now. I don't think that was probably the appropriate thing to do, but the legislature approved it, etc. That's all fine, but we need to move away from some of those things and get to more of the specific issues that we have to face now.
Do you think that this new focus, primarily research and development, with some maintaining of environmental excuse me, issues as well, do you think that that is still in line with the integrity of the mission of the LCCMR?
Oh, I think it absolutely is. One of the things that we were looking at today was looking at an issue that was funded through Bowser and through the University of Minnesota and University of Minnesota Duluth on, and it was the original focus, I think, of something that LCCMR wanted to do, or LCMR wanted to do, was to look at the benefit that we're receiving from putting some of these funds into some of these land projects, and particularly CRP, and are we doing it correctly? Are we going to be putting money into the right areas of land that do have the critical need for protection? And we funded that study, and I think those are the kinds of things that we should be doing that benefit the best on where we should be putting money in the future.
I want to look ahead a little bit to the future. During the last budget cycle, first of all, requests totaling more than $160 million were received to the LCCMR. Roughly $50 million was allocated. Let's fast forward now to this next budget cycle. This will come, you know, most of the funding, as most people know, comes primarily from lottery proceeds. Now, roughly $8 million in lottery money was lost during the state government shutdown. How do you see this impacting the bottom line and, more importantly, the number of projects that may be funded?
I really don't think that the shutdown is going to affect that much. I mean, it's a very small portion. It doesn't really affect the corpus of the account of LCCMR. I think we're going to be fine in that regard. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. I do think that as we progress and maybe we see some other forms of gaming coming in, maybe with funding for maybe a casino, that's going to bring even more money to the corpus account.
I think it's fair to say that during this recession and all of the subsequent cuts, changes, more and more lawmakers, GOP and DFL, talk about partnering. So given the different pots of money available for environmental issues, you brought up a little bit with the legacy funds, the Lessard Sam's Outdoor Heritage Council. How do you see these councils, commissions, et cetera, all working together? Do they work together?
Well, that's just it. I don't know that they do work together. And as co-chair of the LCCMR, I want that to happen. I want to work with Lessard Sam's council and work together to, you're going to do some of these projects, we're going to do some of these. Some of these we have to fund together. We'll give some of the money, you give some of the money. So I want to bring that together better than it has been in the past. Of course, Lessard Sam's is very, very new, But with me being the co-chair of the LCCMR, I would like to bring those two together and work together much, much closer than it has in the past.
Another thing that has sprung out of this, in my opinion, is accountability. There needs to be more accountability for different projects and programs. Is that something that you see needs strengthening as well?
Absolutely. More accountability, particularly from the different groups that are coming in and applying for the funds and getting the funds. We did approve a couple of the work plans today that we're moving forward, and they've done a good job. But we do need more accountability from some of these folks to find out exactly where this money is going. I think the LCCMR is going to move in the direction, like we said earlier, of better establishing where we want to spend this money for research and studies, but also for on-the-ground issues. Not necessarily buying land, but let's put the money to work. Let's see something tangible, such as we're going to have a site visit today over at the University of Minnesota Laboratories on Mississippi River to look at the fish barriers for invasive Asian carp and the bubble barriers and things that they're going to have there. So we want to look at those kinds of things so we can spend money in smart ways.
Okay, my last question for you. It's hard to predict what's going to happen in the future, but what are some of your expectations as funding, as you start hearing proposals for projects in the upcoming months?
Well, we're going to hear more from other members and where they want to see the money spent and what their ideas are too. So we're going to hear more from them. And tomorrow we're going to be going on a site visit throughout the state, or more around the metropolitan area. But we're going to look at some of the proposals that have been submitted to LCCMR to see where we want to spend that money. So I think the site visits are important to find out exactly what's going on. I think we're going to see quite a difference in LCCMR in the upcoming years.
And in your opinion, good differences?
Very good differences.
Okay. Yeah. Chair Hackbarth, thanks so much for joining us
today.
We certainly appreciate it.
Quite all right.